Hi friend, welcome back to the channel where we focus less on trying and more on being the best version of ourselves. Before we even start, a couple of disclaimers. I have the AC on because it has gotten hotter than Satan's out of literally nowhere here, and it's hot, okay? I'm hot. So sorry for that. And second off, I don't usually wear my glasses in these videos because the reflection from the ring light, is it that bad? I don't know, you guys let me know. I thought we'd try a new little look. Anyway, in today's video, I want to talk about how to manifest on a time crunch. Already using the term time crunch, it's like pressure. It's like you feel some deadline looming, something's coming in the future, and you need to manifest something quickly in order to meet this deadline, right? A time crunch. But I want us to think about it in a little bit of a different way. You know I'm always going to bring the alternative perspective. So I'm not gonna go too into depth about dimensions and the science of the time-space continuum because you don't need to know it in order to do what I'm about to ask you to do, and you're gonna get results either way as long as you can understand the concept of time. When we think about time, usually we think about it on like a timeline. Like if you were to draw a line graph when you were in math in like, what, 5th grade, you think of point A, I was born, and then there's the line, this is my life, and then point Z, I'm deceased. So this is the line of your life, this is the beginning, and this is the end. And we think about ourselves as going along on this journey to the end. Whether you're thinking about it as your whole entire life or the journey between you birthing your desire and its manifestation. So we have to understand from a 3D human perspective, this is how linear time works. We need it to work in this way so that we can have some sort of perception of past, present, future. This happened before, this is going to happen, this is what's happening now. But in higher dimensions, I said I wasn't gonna talk about dimensions, but here we are talking about dimensions. I'm not gonna go in depth about it, but I'm just gonna let you know that time, the way that we see it, is a 3D human construct, right? To a certain extent, it's made up for us to function logically and cognitively in this space, in the space-time continuum. So we are allowed to have point A, point B, and have our lived out experience because we experience time as human beings. When we think about spiritual entities like gods, angels, ghosts, and ghouls, that's outside of time, right? You think about omnipresence, being able to be in more places than one at once, and people getting apparitions of ghosts that were from the past in the present moment. That's because outside of the 3D reality, beings exist in dimensions where time is not the same way that we perceive it here. Without going too into depth in that, I will tell you the true perception of time. So instead of thinking about time as being on a linear scale like this, where you have to travel from point A to point B, it is more vertical. So it's kind of like everything is stacked up on top of each other, happening all at the same time. If you've seen the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, it's kind of like that. It literally is everything everywhere all at once. That's why we say creation is finished. There are infinite possibilities. All possibilities exist. It's because they do all exist as potentials in the current moment of now. So when we talk about manifesting on a time crunch, instead of thinking about it like there is a deadline looming, I want you to think about it like you are literally crunching time. There is no more past, there is no more future, you are just in the present moment. You are in the moment of now, because your now moment is what creates. You create from your state of being in the present moment. So if you can bring the fulfillment of your desire to the present moment and stay in that state of fulfillment, it doesn't matter what the timeline is, what the deadline is, what time is saying in the 3D outside of you, because you're moving beyond the 3D perception of time. You're moving into higher dimensions of time. In the same way that when you continue to revisit the past, when you continue to think about past memories, past experiences, you recreate those cycles in the present. I want you to understand that it's not because the past is creating, it's because you are taking yourself back to the past in the present moment and recreating that experience. Now, if you were to have amnesia and completely forget the past and assume a completely new identity of who you were, you would have a totally alternate experience to whatever you experienced before, because you wouldn't have all of that cognitive dissonance between who you were before and the state that you're moving into now. So I kind of want you to give yourself a little amnesia. You're not gonna worry about the past circumstances. You're not gonna worry about, even if you've tried to manifest on a time crunch before and it didn't work, this time it's gonna work. This time, you have this information, you're equipped to know that everything that has ever happened or ever will happen exists for me now here in this present moment. My only job is to make the decision to experience it and to persist in the decision. Whether you use a method or whether you just say that it's done and you have that level of conviction of knowing that it will come to fruition, it is here now, it is done, I know it's done, it's just a matter of me seeing it in physical reality. From that state, you can create anything outside of the constructs of time. So when you completely forget about time, when you crunch time all together into literally just the present moment, what can you do with your present? Well, you can be in the state of the wish fulfilled, because when you get to that future experience of you having manifested what you wanted by the deadline, you will have already felt that way the entire time. So you bring that future to the now. You forget about the past, you forget about the future as some far off deadline or intangible date or uncertain possibility, and you bring all the focus to now, to the present moment. So you have to be clear. What do I want? What experience am I choosing to have? Once you're clear about what you want, who do I have to be in order to have this experience? What version of me aligns me with that experience and puts me in the state of the wish fulfilled? Okay, now I need to start thinking like that person. I need to start acting like that person, if not in physical reality, then at least mentally, playing mental pictures, having inner conversations, affirming to myself, having a good mental diet about already being in that state of the wish fulfilled in the present moment. We're not worrying about, oh, I have this many days left and I need to manifest it by this time, so now I'm gonna do more work, now I'm gonna put in more effort, now I'm gonna affirm more, now I'm gonna visualize more. That is the complete opposite of what you wanna be doing. Because when you get into that state of feeling anxiety, feeling like you're rushed, feeling like something is looming over you, and you start to put more effort in an attempt to push this experience, the negative experience, away, you're building resistance and excess potential. You're putting way too much importance on this deadline, which is why I ask you to forget about the deadline and to bring everything into the present moment of now. Because if you can be fulfilled now, you can be fulfilled at any time, because all you have is you now in the present moment. And in each now moment, you get to choose your conception of yourself. You get to choose who you're being, how you identify, and you get to make choices about what kind of slide or reality that you're gonna experience. You get to literally pluck up out of the alternative space, out of all these possibilities that are stacked on top of each other. You know that you can choose to experience any one of them. So you make your choice, you identify as the person having made that choice and who is living that experience now. So especially when you are manifesting on a time crunch or on a deadline, the number one thing you do not want to do is waver. You make that decision and you put some conviction behind it. You say, this is what it is. I am done. This is my decision. I'm not accepting any other reality. If you're having a negative experience or you're experiencing the lack of your desire, just like you can choose that in the quantum realm of possibilities, you can choose your new experience. Remember, they are all stacked on top of each other. They are all happening right here, right now. They're all here for you to experience, but it is your choice to choose it and assume that identity. So just remember that in your present moment, when you are making a decision to identify with your past circumstances, to identify with feeling like maybe this is not gonna work, maybe I can't actually do this, things are getting too close, things are getting too tight, is this actually gonna work? When you are in that state, that is non-fulfillment. There has to be no other choice but fulfillment. You have to bring that future experience into the now. You have to forget what happened in the past, all your expectations from the past, all the things that are based on whatever happened before, and you have to just assume, without any evidence to the contrary, without any evidence even for your desire, that it is here now, because you are the only person who can push that experience out. Experience is created by you through the observer effect. So that's how we choose slides. That's how we choose the experiences of all of these experiences stacked on top of each other. We choose by our state of being. We choose by who we are internally, by our concept of self. So if my concept of self matches that future state of fulfillment, then that state of fulfillment is not in the future. That state of fulfillment is now. So there is no time crunch. There is no deadline. I already have my manifestation now. I am being that person now. I'm living that experience now, and I'm dwelling in that fulfillment. This is how you release the pressure. And then you just let it happen. You don't worry about trying to orchestrate things. You don't worry about trying to push things along in the 3D. You just know that if I am in a state where I know it is done, then it is not my job to worry about the bits and bobs, all the calculations that need to be made, all the people that need to move, all the circumstances that need to change in order for me to have what I want. You are in the state where, well, obviously something happened, something worked because I have what I want now. So obviously it got figured out. It's not my job to worry about how it gets figured out. It's just my job to have it. You are the desirer and then the attainer. But you have to move from that state of desiring it to that state of having it. And when you have that level of conviction, when you don't waver, when you don't doubt it, the time doesn't matter. The deadline doesn't matter because you are there now. You are that now. You're having that experience now. And I promise you that if you can remain in that state, you will manifest whatever it is you want by that deadline. So crunch time, bring it all back into self, bring it all back into you, into the now present moment, and choose. Make your decision and be firm about it. Be persistent about it. If you feel like you're about to waver, if you feel like you're falling off, if you feel like you're losing that lifeline that leads to you having your manifestation, you remind yourself, who am I? Who am I being? Who is the version of myself that has this manifestation? How can I be that person now? And if you don't know how, you can literally ask your reality, show me the next step. Show me how to be this person. Show me my wishes fulfilled. Show me how this is going to work out. Handle this for me. I surrender and let the possibility play out in the way that it needs to. Because when you start to micromanage, when you start to worry about the deadline, when you start to worry about the time, about how it's going to happen, that's when you start stuffing things up. That's when you start putting roadblocks in your own way. So if you're manifesting on a time crunch, I need you to understand that you just have to go balls to the wall. You just have to be like, okay, infinite realm of possibilities. I've made my decision. I will continue to make that decision. I will continue to make that decision. I will continue to make that decision. So now I already hear you saying, but I've tried to manifest by a deadline before and I did all that and it didn't work. At this point, what should you do? Are you still alive? Are you still breathing? Are you still conscious? Revise it. It's okay, a do-over. All possibilities exist. So do you think there's not a reality where you retroactively got your desire in the time that it needed to be there, where you could go back and rewrite the past from the present moment and still have your wish fulfilled? If you are still alive, the possibilities still exist. Just because the deadline came and went doesn't mean that your manifestation is gone. It didn't go poof up into the air. If you still have the desire within you, it can be experienced, and it will be when you bring that future far off experience into the present moment. When you start to live as that person now, when you start to identify as that person now, and you truly live that, and you truly have the conviction and the knowing that not even that I have to believe that this is going to happen, not even that I know how it's going to happen, but I know that this is my choice. This is my choice. There is no other option but for me to have this experience. It's done. It's done. And you just keep telling yourself, oh, I don't have to worry about that. It's done. I don't have to worry about that. It's done. I don't have to worry about that. It's done. Why would I even worry about it when it's literally sitting right here in front of my face and I literally know that I'm the master manifester, that I always get everything I want? Of course my wish is going to be fulfilled. Of course I'm going to manifest it by the time crunch. Of course I'm going to do it even way before then. This is easy. I do this in my sleep. Easy, effortless manifestation. That is how you do it. You just make the choice and then you let whatever process that you choose to use work for you. That is the whole entire point of a process. The process is not what's getting you your manifestation, it's you getting you your manifestation. So let the mechanisms work for you as they already do, because they always are working for you. So whatever you are projecting, whatever you are observing, whatever you are focusing on is what you are creating more of in your experience. So either you're going to keep focusing on something being far off of you, being separated from your desire, or you're going to start living in the present moment as having that desire, focusing your attention on it being here now, and then you're going to see it in your 3D reality. But conviction, focus, and knowing, not even belief. We're going to talk about the pearl of great price soon, about why you don't actually have to believe your manifestations. Yes, does it help? Absolutely. It is amazing once you get to the point where you just see so much evidence of manifestation working in your life that you're like, duh, I just already know that it's a done deal. It doesn't matter. I can do whatever I want and I know it's gonna happen. And you get to the point where you're like, I don't even know, I don't even care how this is gonna happen. I just know it's gonna happen because it always happens. And so it's done. I said what I wanted. I put my order in. I'll let it be handled by infinite intelligence. But until that point, at least buy the pearl of great price. At least listen to what I'm saying and just take it for granted. Just take it for granted that what I'm telling you is true and just do it. And then start to see the evidence of it in your reality and latch onto that evidence and amplify it. Like I say, you latch onto the things that you want to see, you disregard the things that you don't. Does that mean that you ignore them, that you go la 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 and pretend you don't see it? No, you're building resistance. You're pretending that something is not there that is there, but you're in the reality where the possibility of it being there exists. So acknowledge the possibility in the infinite realm of possibilities and then make a different choice, make a different decision, because it is up to you to decide. Nobody else is gonna do it for you. Nobody's gonna think your thoughts for you. Nobody's gonna assume your state for you. You have to do that. You have to do that because ultimately you are the operant power in your reality. You are the creator and you are the observer. So your focused attention, your thoughts, your identification, your self-concept is what creates your experience. So again, bring that future experience into the now. Live presently, live in the moment, be mindful and enjoy your experience to the fullest extent that you can in the present moment, and that fulfillment follows you everywhere. There cannot be a state where you're not fulfilled, so there cannot be a possibility that you will experience where you're not getting your desire, because you have only chosen fulfillment. In whatever slide, in whatever story, in whatever parallel universe possibility, you are experiencing your fulfillment, no matter what it looks like, no matter how reality shifts and changes. Eventually, you assuming and staying in that state dominantly, continuing to return back to that place, continuing to have that level of conviction that you are this, that you can have this, that you are capable of this, that you are worthy of this, because you are. Literally just because you are, that is when it becomes effortless. It becomes like breathing, because it's what we were all made here to do. It's literally how we work. And when you allow infinite intelligence to work in that way for you and don't bottleneck it and don't try to control it and make it conform to your ways of how reality should move, it will literally put you on the bullet train to your manifestation, fast track you to getting what you want, because you have understood the ultimate thing that there is to understand, which is that time doesn't actually exist. The only thing that actually exists is what you are observing in this current moment, which is why circumstances don't matter, which is why we say don't check the 3D, because the 3D doesn't matter. It's a possibility that you have no longer decided to experience. So when you choose to experience the new reality, you let all other possibilities go. You acknowledge that they exist, but you only identify with the story that serves you. So this is how you manifest on a time crunch. Instead of worrying about the looming deadline, you crunch time and you bring all your focus back to the present moment, to who you're being, and you assume that state of fulfillment right now. All right, you guys, that's gonna do it for me today. I really hope you guys enjoyed and got something of value from this video. Please be sure to leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comment box below, and check out the description for my social media links, services, all that good stuff is down below. And other than that, I love you all so much. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye.